What's going on, guys? This is MadMat9955 here, and today we're going to be going over a King of the Skull Servant deck profile. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So of course we're going to start off with 3 of the King of the Skull Servant himself. We run 3 because in today's meta, a lot of games, if you're playing this deck right, you can grind for a little while, and you're going to be losing your King of Skull Servants a lot, because people are going to pop it with card effects. They're going to banish it off the field and stuff of that nature. So I think 3 is really good. You always want to see it either in your opening hand or search it off really easily. So yeah, I run 3 of it. If you guys don't know what it does, it gains 1,000 off of each Skull Servant and King of Skull Servant in the graveyard. And most of the cards that we play in here are considered Skull Servant while in the graveyard. So he gets pretty big pretty quick. Then we're running 2 White Princess. White Princess is an extender in this deck where she basically sends White Prince, and White Prince will get his effect. But her other effects, she has 2 potential areas of where she can be activated, either on field or in the hand. You can send her to the graveyard, and then all monsters on the field, so it also affects you too, but if you play it right, then you can still have a whole bunch of stuff on the field, because only the cards that are currently on the field. But anyways, if you play it right, then you don't really have to worry about hitting your own stuff. But she makes all cards on both sides of the field lose 300 attack by their level and rank. So if you got a level 8 monster staring you down with like 3,000 attack, 3 times 8, 24. Now it's 600 attack. Then we run the 2 White Baking. This is a newer card that is an extender as well. He has 2 different effects. One effect is to discard him and then protect a level 3 or lower zombie monster on your side of the field. If it would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you discard him instead. And then he has an additional effect that when he hits the grave, you can add 2 monsters that either say Skull Servant or specify Skull Servant in their text to your hand, and then you get to discard 1 card. Which in any zombie deck, if you're discarding a card, it's really good, but in this deck it's even better, because then you can add up your White Prince, and if you discard the White Prince, because he goes to the graveyard, when he hits the graveyard, you can send 1 Skull Servant and 1 Lady in White from your deck to your grave, which Lady in White is good, but Skull Servant is not. So, Lady in White is a card, while she's on the field, all level 3 or lower zombie monsters are unaffected by spells and traps, or they cannot be destroyed by battle, and also they're unaffected by spells and traps. But it does not affect her, so if they go into and hit her, then all your stuff basically loses its, viability. And then the other one, we run 2 of the Skull Servant, which White Prince always sends. So that's our Skull Servant package. I think it's 15 cards, or pretty close to 15 cards. This is a 45 card deck, but it's basically all zombie type stuff, focused on trying to bring those guys out pretty quickly. So now we're going to go into our Eldritch package. For our Eldritch package, we have 2 Eldritch himself, the Golden Lord. If you guys don't know what he does, he's pretty crazy, and his archetype is definitely good for any zombie deck. It's a little slow, but it also is very big payoff. So you can send 1 spell or trap from your hands to the grave along with this card, and then target a card on the field, send it to the graveyard. If this card is in the graveyard, you can send 1 spell or trap that you control to the graveyard, add this card back to your hand, and then special summon a zombie monster from your hand. That zombie monster gets 1,000 attack and also cannot be targeted by card effects until the end of your opponent's turn. So you can either summon him out to make him a 3,500 beater, which is pretty good, or you can summon out like your King of Skull Servant to get an additional 1,000 on him, or really any of your other cards you can summon out too. Then we're on 1 Cursed Elblin. I mean, Cursed Elblin is very good. If I had maybe like 1 more, I'd probably play 2 in it. But this deck is jam-packed. Like I said, it's a 45 card deck, so we're only playing 1 of it. If we see it, we see it. If we don't really need it. But this allows you to basically add your Eldritch and any of your Golden Land spells or traps from your deck to your hand. And then you can also, if this card goes to the graveyard, send a Golden Land, or Golden Lord, or a Golden Land Speller Trap from your deck to the grave. So it's decent. If you're looking to get Eldritch or something like that, then you can get them. Or if you're trying to start up some combo with Eldritch, then you can add something. But most of the time, I don't really see it. Only play 2 Black Awakening. Black Awakening allows you to special summon a zombie monster from your deck or your hand in defense position, and if you don't control an Eldritch monster, then you have to summon Eldritch. But if you do control an Eldritch monster, being Eldritch the Golden Lord, then you can summon any zombie monster from your deck for free, basically. And on top of that, this card has an additional effect. What's in the graveyard, you can banish this card, and then you can set a Golden Land Speller Trap directly from your deck to your side of the field. The only downside about this card and the other cards I'm going to go over for the Eldritch stuff is that you can only use either or effect. So if you summon out, you can't banish that turn. If you banish that turn, you can't use its other effects that turn. So if you have multiple set, then it kind of sucks. But how the deck runs is if you see like 1 or 2 of any of them, they keep on bouncing back between each other. So that's really nice. Our other summoning one is Scarlet Sanguine. Scarlet Sanguine is probably the best out of all of them because it does from graveyard or from deck, which in my opinion is the best. It is a trap, but it also is pretty good because it doesn't really have the bad side as the Black Awakening does, where Black Awakening is a spell in the grave, so you have to wait basically 2 turns after you activate it to be able to get your, stuff off of it. Versus Scarlet Sanguine, you can activate it on their turn, and then during your turn, immediately go into something else to put on your side of the field. But this card also says the stipulation of that you have to summon Eldritch if you don't have Eldritch, but if you do have Eldritch, you can summon to any of your zombie monsters. And then it has the same exact effect as Black Awakening to banish itself and set a Golden Land Speller Trap from your deck directly to your side of the field. Next, we're going to go into our Golden Land cards. So we play 3 Conquistador of the Golden Land. This is a trap monster, but it also has a pop if Eldritch of the Golden Lord is on the field. And it becomes a white zombie, level 5, 500 attack, 1800 defense, which isn't crazy or anything, but you can actually go into like synchro plays and XT plays and that type of stuff with this. And then it has an additional effect that if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and set one of your elixir cards from your deck to your side of the field. The Golden Lands also have the same exact effect of that they can only be activated either or per turn. So you have to wait a full turn, and they also have the effect that it has to be at the end phase of a turn. So if you summon this out, pop a card or whatever, and then during your end phase, then you can get additional value off of it to set something and then basically be able to summon whatever you want on their turn. My other Golden Land I'm playing is Guardian. The reason I'm playing Guardian and not Hekato like most people play is that Guardian actually is a permanent 0 attack on a monster. So if our focus is to OTK our opponent and we're going into King of Skull Servant, which gets very, very big, that's basically an immediate OTK just hitting into that monster. But it also has a pretty big body for defensive mechanism type stuff. It's got 800 attack and it has 2500 defense. And then it has the same exact effect of Conquistador that if you banish it during another turn, you can set one of your elixir cards directly from your deck to your side of the field. And that is my Eldritch lineup. Now we'll go on to just our standard zombie lineup. We've got 3 Unizombie. Unizombie's good in any zombie deck. This guy's kind of good, kind of nutty. He has 2 different effects, and he's a tuner. But he's 2 different effects. You can discard 1 card, target 1 card on the field. It'll gain a level. And then his other effect is that you can send 1 zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then target a card on the field, and it'll gain a level. So you can potentially bump him up to like level 5, or you can bump anything up into different levels. Like sometimes I go bump Balindrak like twice if he's still on the field, and go into like a rank 10 play with another Eldritch or something, or bump him up to like a 5 and go into like a sync play with one of the conquistadors. Our other regular zombie support, 2 Necroworld Banshee, basically just go into zombie world. If you don't know what she does, while she's on the field and zombie world's on the field, zombie world cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, another player can target it with card effects, so basically it's a supernaturalist for gravekeepers with Necro Valley type thing. And then while she's on the field or in the graveyard, you can banish her and activate zombie world directly from your deck, which is very good. And then we run our Doom King Beldrock at 1. Doom King, whenever there's a field spell on the side of anybody's field, he special summons himself. And then if a zombie monster activates its effect, you can do one of these 2 things. You can either negate it or you can banish a monster on the field. I like him a lot because he has the ability to keep on coming back if there's a like field spell on either person's field, and he's really good because he negates zombie effects and most hand traps these days that are, you know, like Ash, Ghost Spell, all that type of shit. It's all zombies, so very good there. And then we run 2 Zombie World, which obviously facilitates us making their monster zombies so that the Doom King becomes even better. You can chain Doom King on any of your own zombie monster effects, though, to get value off of it. So that's just our zombie package. And then we're going to go into our kind of, like, disruption and our 1-4 extenders. So for disruption, we just run 2 Ashes. Ash is very common. Just stops anything from being activated from the hand, the deck type stuff. If you were to add a card from your deck to your hand, it can stop it. If you send a card from the deck to your grave, it stops it. And if you special summon from the deck, it stops it. It's a tuner, it's a zombie, so you can go into plays with that too if you really need to. Then we play 2 Super Poly. Super Poly is really good. You can go into a whole bunch of different good summons with it, but you can also go into some of the zombie summons too if you have Zombie World on the field, which I really like. And you can basically just rip your opponent's field for free. And then I have 2 Mash Change 2 in here, so I've been trying to play around with this card. 1, because I have to discard so you can get additional effects, and 2, so that you can go into your, like, Dark Claw or something of that nature, because Tearlaments is a big problem, and we need to get rid of their cards from going to the graveyard. So we run 2 of those. Now I have a way to search it. We could just run Shadow Mist and, like, Hero Lives and Mash Change if we wanted to, but I mean, they don't discard or anything, and it's just a little engine in itself. So I think if I just play this and I have the discard, which most of my stuff will get maximum value off of anyways, I'm just gonna run this instead. And then we're going for 1-for-1 extenders. Foolish Burial. Basically what Unizombie does, just sends a card from the deck to the grave. 1-for-1. Summons out a level 1 monster by discarding 1 card. This can be your White Prince, your White Breaking, your King of School Servants, just depends on what the play is. Most of the time it's straight off the White Baking so you can get your, like, stuff rolling. Sometimes it's the King of School Servants because you already have it and it's later on in the game. We run Monster Reborn, which I mean we don't really need, but it's nice sometimes. 1 Called by the Grave, just banish a card in the grave, negate something, and negate until end of turn. It's very good. And the 1 Where Art Thou. This sometimes comes into play because it searches out a level 1 monster if you control level 1 monster. If you don't play the monster that turn, then you get burned for 2k. But it's a niche thing, and sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't, but we don't really need it. So that's the main deck. Now we're going to go into the extra deck. For the extra deck, we run a 1 Link Rebo, just so we can, like, link off our White Baking or something. If we're going second, we run the Relinquished Anima. Basically, it's the same exact thing as the Link Rebo, just Link Rebo is like turn 1 for you, so you can get your White Baking effects off. Turn 2, Relinquished Anima steals a card, and you also get more from your White Baking. Then we run a Avenged Savior. This guy basically just dumps a zombie monster for you and allows you to decrease your opponent's monsters down. So if you really need to like hit over something that's huge, you can send like Eldridge, or you can send Bellandrock. Or if you're just trying to get extender type plays off, then you can just send like a level 1 monster, like a White Prince or a White Baking, just keep on popping off. Then we run a Nightmare Phoenix just for the spell, Chest Trap pop. Just discard one card, target one card, or one spell or trap on the field that your opponent controls, destroy it. We don't really ever worry about the co-link thing, because we don't really co-link like that in this deck. We run a Nightmare Unicorn. Same concept as Phoenix, just it spins a card back into the deck, and like I said, we don't really worry about the co-link effect of it, because we don't really need it. Then we run one Yuki Ono Maikashi, or Absolute Zero Maikashi. She is really good against like Phantom Knight players, or like anything that needs to banish to get effects. She's really good against. She basically negates anything that gets banished and negates the effect of the banished card. And then if a monster comes from the graveyard to your side of the field or your opponent's side of the field, you can target one card on either side of the field, make its attack 0, and also negate its effects. You can do it up to twice per turn. So sometimes it comes up. For our super power targets, we have Starving Venom. Starving Venom Dragon is obviously very generic, 2 dark monsters, and he can get pretty big pretty quick. We've got the Mud Dragon of the Swamp for those weird matchups where you have to like super poly something off that has a different attribute, or same attributes but different types. We have the Carter Plant Dracospillia for like branded players, for your tier elements, for really anything that's playing fusions. Then we have this guy. This guy's really good for if you have super poly and you have a zombie world on the field, you can rip 2 of their monsters. It just takes 2 zombie monsters to make. Just rip 2 of their monsters that are zombies off the zombie world, and then get him on your field. He's a 3k beater, and he can make you tokens too, which are kind of nice. We run the one Masked Hero Darklaw that we were talking about from Mass Change 2. He's basically just to stop your opponent from activating a whole bunch of stuff in their grave. He's a one-sided Macrocosmos, so that's pretty good. We run the one Baron de Fleur. This guy's kind of nutty. I haven't actually went into him in this deck yet, but there is a possibility that I can. So I mean, might as well run him. It involves your Unizombie and your Conquistador, but you can also like go into it with other ways. Then we run a number 6 Volcanosaurus. We're just trying to find like a flex spot. This doesn't really have to be in there. It can be though. It's like a Pallades type deal. Instead of spinning something back, it pops a card in the field and then they take damage for it. And since we're trying to go for like an OTK version, we just decided to throw us in so we can get a little bit extra damage if we actually needed to go into it. Then we have a Super Rail Cannon Gustav Max, which obviously is the same concept as the Volcanosaurus, to get some extra damage on the field. 2k is pretty good. And then we have his rank up to go into, which if you get lucky enough, you can potentially OTK your opponent with just that one play. 2 Eldridge, go into Gustav, hit him for 2k, and then go into Libra and hit him for 6 per game. It's not obviously the best OTK, but with everything in our deck that makes it so we can OTK, most of the time it's gonna happen. But anyways, yeah, that was our King of Skull Servant deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. I'll be posting a Zombie World control variant of this deck. Obviously, it's not going to have any of the Skull Servant stuff in it. And it's going to cut down a little bit of the ratios that I don't actually need for the Skull Servants. But, yeah, so I hope you guys liked the deck profile. Leave a comment down below, a like, maybe subscribe. Let me know what you liked about it. Let me know what decks you want to see in the future. Anyways, this is Mad Matt 9955 signing out. Peace.